guys, it's Haley and welcome to another bookish video. So before we get into it, obviously my location is different. I have a slightly different filming setup. Please give me feedback down below. Do you like this background of the books better than me just sitting on my floor? I have a lighting system now, which you have probably already noticed, and I'm filming in a way different mode than usual. So I hope you guys like this new setup. I'm really trying to put my all into YouTube and trying to make my videos a little bit more high quality and put together. So please give me some feedback down below. I am very excited about this, especially having my little Christmas tree in the corner here. I hope you guys are excited to get into my December TBR. So without further ado, let's go ahead and get into what I'm going to be reading during this holiday season. I have 12 books that I would like to get to this month, but if you have been around my channel for a while, you know I will probably get to around 75 to 80% of them and let myself mood read within the TBR that I have chosen for myself. So I have a lot of holiday reads. Some of them are like your typical Christmas Hallmark romances, and then I have some horror that is wintry and some thrillers as well. So let's go ahead and jump in with Dying for Christmas by Tammy Cohen. Obviously, this is a Christmas holiday themed book. It is a thriller, and the synopsis is very, very vague. It basically says that there's a woman who makes a spontaneous decision, but now she's being held captive. Every day, her captor gives her a gift, each one more disturbing than the last. She knows he has something special planned for the 12th day of Christmas, but can she outwit him before it's too late? That just sounds so perfect. These are the type of wintry Christmas books that I would rather read as opposed to like a Hallmarky romance. I do like those, but reading a ton of them back to back, I start to feel burnt out. So I'm hoping this one is good. Also, my friends Jessie and Gwen are going to be discussing this book in December for Jessie's book club, the Sleep When I'm Dead book club. I was a co-host a couple months ago for that book club, and it was so fun. So I'm excited to read along with them. Next up, we have The House on Trad Street by Karen White. And I don't know why I feel like this is wintry. I feel like it's because I read my first Karen White book last Christmas over Christmas break, and I just felt like the Southern family vibes were strong, and I hang out with my Southern family during the Christmas season, so maybe that's why I chose this one. But it is a mystery, and it was recommended to me by Caroline Johnson here on BookTube, one of my besties. I'll link her down below, of course. This is basically a mystery about this woman who moves into this house where this guy had died, and she thinks that she is hearing his ghost or communicating with his ghost. And another tenant moves in, and he is a mystery, what is it, like a writer obsessed with unsolved mysteries, it says. So he's trying to charm her into revealing the secrets of the house, saying what she knows about this man's death, and they fall in love and solve this mystery together. So I'm excited for something kind of ghosty. I haven't read a lot of paranormal this year, and it just feels like it's gonna be cozy and fun. I love cozy mysteries for this season as well, so excited for this one. On the same kind of cozy mystery train, I have two Agatha Christies that I want to read, Sleeping Murder and The Murder at the Vicarage. I have not read either of these, and I found this cool little vintage edition at a local bookstore, and I'm just so excited. The Murder at the Vicarage is the reason why I bought this, because it is Miss Marple's first case, as it says right here. And I've never read a Miss Marple mystery. I've only read the Hercule Poirot series by Agatha Christie, so I'm excited to get into it. Agatha Christie is always good during Christmas for me, so there's that. Another wintry pick I have is Us Against You by Frederick Bachmann. This is the sequel to Beartown, which was one of my favorite books of 2020 last year. So I'm very excited to get into the sequel. I was planning on reading this last year immediately after Beartown, but Beartown is really, really intense and emotional. It actually put me in a reading slump because nothing I read afterwards could measure up. And I'm finally getting around to the sequel. I'm very excited for it, but don't read this unless you have, number one, read Beartown, and number two, looked up trigger warnings for this duology. It follows a little town in the wake of a sexual assault that has really divided the town and what they believe, and if they believe the victim and how they treat other members of the community. And Beartown was just phenomenal, so I'm wondering how the aftermath is tackled in Us Against You, and it's gonna give me that wintry hockey atmosphere, so I'm ready to get into it. I also have some wintry romances, of course, how could I not? The first one being Window Shopping by Tessa Bailey. This is about a woman who actually just got out of prison and she wants to redesign these window displays. She's walking by this department store and she's like, yo, these window displays really suck. And the guy outside, little does she know, is actually the owner of the department store, and he gives her this opportunity to have this job. But while she's there, she's like having to ignore that her boss is like really hot and let her have this job even though she's a felon. So sounds very interesting, not like your typical fluffy romance, and it's super short, so I will probably read this in a day leading up to Christmas. I'm so excited about this one. Next up, we have a YA contemporary romance, and that is What Light by Jay Asher. This follows a girl whose family owns a Christmas tree farm, and every holiday season they move from Oregon to California to try to sell more of their Christmas trees. And while they are temporarily in California, the daughter meets a boy there, as they always do in YA romances, but they know that their time will have to be cut short and they have to make the most of what they have during the Christmas season. Sounds adorable. I'm ready for it. And lastly, for romance, we have The Holiday Swap by Maggie, Knox. This is about two identical twin sisters who swap lives and fall in love with the men that were just right there all along in their sisters' lives. And it also involves a lot of holiday baking and a cooking show. So this sounds right up my alley, and I think I'm going to mainly love this one for the ambiance. I cannot lie, but I hope the story is good too. And I think this one is a December book of the month pick. They teased like this little graphic from the cover, so if you're wanting it for cheap, as always, my book of the month sign up link is down below. Next up, we have another Frederick Bachmann book, and that is The Deal of a Lifetime. Somebody recommended that I read this on Christmas, last Christmas. It's just a little short novella about kind of the meaning of life. This dad and the son have been estranged for years, and they meet up as the dad is trying to consider this deal that he might make, and he's kind of weighing if his life is worth it or if he should sacrifice his life for the value of someone else's life. It's kind of one of those New Year resetting, rethinking kind of books, kind of reminding me of The Midnight Library a bit. But again, with Frederick Bachmann, his stories are always very emotional, so make sure you look up trigger warnings if you're interested in this one. The horror book that I want to prioritize this month is The Visitor by Sergio Gomez. I read Camp Slaughter by this author around Halloween, and I absolutely loved it, so I was super happy to find out that this author actually has a Christmas horror book as well. This one's pretty short. I think it is like around 150 to 200 pages, and it's giving me major No Exit vibes. And you guys know I am constantly searching for the next book that measures up to the action and thrills of No Exit. So this one is about a bunch of people, I think it's 5 people, that are stranded at a rest stop during a blizzard. Sounds so much like No Exit. And they have a 6th visitor that starts picking people off. So they are all kind of trapped in this horrifying slasher in the middle of their holiday drive while they're stuck in this blizzard. The atmosphere sounds wonderful. It's an isolated setting. It's gonna be quick. It's gonna be dirty. Just based on what I've read previously from Sergio Gomez. So I'm super excited for this one. yet again, take a shot every time I say I'm excited for these books. Obviously, I'm excited for them or I wouldn't have put them on my TBR. All right, the next book I have here is probably the most requested book I have seen in the comments and on Instagram for me to review on this channel, and that is Rock, Paper, Scissors by Alice Feeney. This has been sitting on my shelves for a while now, and I know you guys have been wanting to hear my thoughts, but I am such a seasonal reader. I had to wait until this month to read this one. I have heard such amazing things, and I know all of you guys are saying that I'm gonna love it, so I'm very excited. This is a isolated setting thriller about a married couple whose marriage is kind of on the rocks. They win this trip out to the middle of nowhere in the snow, and they go to rekindle their love, and creepy things start happening. I know there's also a dog involved, and I love dogs. I love when dogs are included in books, particularly thrillers, especially like when paranormal things are happening and they sense it. Oh, I'm just so excited for this one, and I hope all of you guys in the comments are right that this is going to be one of my favorites of the year. Could this be a sleeper pick and make it into my top 20 books of 2021 as I read it in the last days of 2021? You never know. I'm so pumped. And these last two books here are not really Christmas holiday vibe themed, anything like that. They are just two books that I have been wanting to get to that I'm super excited for. The first one that I want to talk about is The First Shot by Liv Constantine, and this was kindly sent to me by Jay, one of my very loyal subscribers. She's been here since the beginning. She's always in my comments. She's such a queen. Thank you so much, Jay, for sending me this book. She actually DM'd me on Instagram and she was like,
"Hey, you like The Last Mrs. Parrish, right?"
And I was like, oh yeah, it's only one of my favorite thrillers of all time. And she told me that Liv Constantine wrote a prequel. And then she said it to me. Can y'all believe? I'm so happy that I have this in my hands. It is just this little short novella that is the prequel to The Last Mrs. Parrish. So I'm super excited to see what it goes into, if it's talking about Daphne before, or the little girl, what's her name? The like interloper. Obviously, I'm not going to give away the plot of The Last Mrs. Parrish, but I'd be interested to see if there's any Easter eggs or hints dropped to the big twist in The Last Mrs. Parrish in the prequel. So super pumped for that one. I'm just now noticing I have a lot of novellas on my TBR, so might actually finish this whole list, fingers crossed. But the final book I want to talk about is Beyond Reach by Karen Slaughter, and this is the last book in the Grant County series. I'm so happy that I ended up picking up this series this year because I've absolutely loved it, and it's made me a lot more seasoned and analytical when I think about Karen Slaughter's writing and all the books that she has written. Obviously, this is a Karen Slaughter stan account. We all know this. And I'm very excited to see the conclusion of the series. To be completely honest, I'm already like 60 pages into this book and I'm loving it. So very excited to see the ending of how all these characters end up working out that I've been following for previous 6 books. And I'm hoping that I love it. So those are all the books that I'm planning on getting to this December. Let me know in the comments if you are interested in picking up any of these as well. And if you made it to this point in the video, go ahead and leave me a snow-themed emoji, a snowman, a snowflake, the little gusty wind lady, any of those. I really liked doing that little emoji thing in the last video that I mentioned that in, so let's do it again. And thank you guys so much for watching. I will see you guys in my next video. Bye.